everyone, welcome back to RTS and welcome back to another layout lunch date. Yes, we're going to just take a little bit of time, have our lunch together and talk about scrapbooking. Yes, more specifically layout. Yes, so what I wanted to do was pop in a little bit today and say I hope you're having a good lunch. Yes, and have a beautiful day today, and also to a little bit of update as to how far and how not far I'm getting to my goal of journaling on some layouts. So in a previous layout lunch date, I had showed that I took a basket or a bin that accommodates 12 by 12 pages. And so what I did was I created dividers according to how I want to tackle this project, because my focus, which is my keyword for 2019, my focus for scrapbooking, I have one goal and one goal only, and it's to get layouts put away. But also with that, I want to get some of these layouts put away, but in order to do that, they need journaling and a little bit of work. And so I decided to create a little bit of a work system, a little bit of a workstation to get going on this, because I will accomplish this in 2019. Yes, I will. I absolutely have to, because I'm getting bags and bags and bags of layouts to put away. And of course I just got something in my eye. Oh great. Oh wow. Okay. Oh, isn't it fun how you get old and your eyesight's going and your knees are creaking? Yeah. Okay. So with my work system, what I did was I did what I said I was going to do, and I wanted to show how that looked because I just pulled those, and I have that one popping up a little bit. And so I just took those tabs that I showed in a previous layout lunch date, and I had printed out what my categories were going to be. And then in the meantime, since you saw that video, I had to add another category. And now I think I need a drink. Oh, great gravy. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, nothing like something in your eye and having a coughing fit 3 minutes into a video, but that's how we roll around here. But as I was saying is that in the previous layout lunch date, I had showed what I was going to do with these dividers, and I also had mentioned that I was going to do a couple extra tabs in case I ran into a category I was going to need down the road, and I already ran into that. I needed to create a place to where I can put some layouts that I need to keep in transition from when they're done until I show them in a layout share. So I was like, oh, I need to create a category for that. So I just simply, and I printed that and I put layout share. And so then what I did was, like you saw, I just simply printed them on Microsoft Word and cut them out, and this is I think a font size 16, and I just used those tabs and I just ran across layout, share, date, journal, redo, school, and filler, and I pulled these out of my basket so you can see. But that is the dividers and how this work system, and it's working pretty good because now I know where to put them. The only thing is I have more layouts to put in these categories than fits in this basket. And why is that? Well, as I was moving something in my living room after the holidays, what do you think I found? I found 3 pizza boxes. I kid you not. 3 pizza boxes full of layouts. And, I don't know where to put this. That need journaling. And I'm like, oh, smack me sideways. Really? Because here when I was doing that system and creating those sections to put my layouts, I thought, hey, I'm not as bad off as I thought I was. I got a handle on this. And then I found 3 pizza boxes. So you will see this coming up as I'm working on this project in 2019. You will see, I will share layouts as I get them journaled. And so I will show at here in just a little bit. I'm going to pick 10 layouts for the next few weeks. 10 layouts each week. And I'm going to be journal and finish those 10 layouts, because I thought if I do 10 layouts a week, maybe I could do them all in one day. I don't know if I have time for that, but some of them are just quick journaling. And so if I would do that, that would be 40 layouts a month for the next couple months. I can't do that over the summer or when I'm traveling, but you know, for now, for a couple weeks, I could do 10 a week. And so here in a little bit, I will show you the 10 that I'm going to focus on. So a little bit of a little mini layout share. Yes, are the ones I'm going to focus on. So I'm going to also, we're going to have a little bit of talk today in this layout lunch date, and I'm already getting hot. Whew, hot flashes. See, that's another problem. Oh, yeah. Yeah. This big 5-0, huh? It can just go. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I got a question from one of my lovely subscribers, and her name is Carol. And Carol wanted to talk about something. And she said, what do you do when you keep going back and you're adding things to a layout? And I say there's no wrong way to do that and no right way to do that. Because if you see, here are two layouts that I will probably be working on this week. And I'm going to be adding journaling on both of these. And when I add my journaling, it'll probably go down here. If I want to add an enamel dot or another sequin, I can. I will say what I find is that it's hard for me to go back and pull these supplies. I don't even know if this came from a kit. It may have been, but it's hard for me to go back and pull supplies that would actually go with what I was working on as I'm working on this journaling, because I did this months ago. Yes. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that, Carol. If you want to go back and add something to a layout when you've already done with it, no worries. Just don't do that on all your layouts, because then you'll probably feel like you're never getting finished. So, but when I go back and add my journaling here, and I'm going to put some journaling here on this one, if I want to go ahead and put another braid or an enamel dot, finishing touches is what I'm talking about. I say there's nothing wrong with that, because we all usually have a basket or a bin or a little bowl sitting around with little finishing touches. I say there's nothing wrong with that. Go and have fun with it. Just don't spend another 40 minutes on this page after you basically were already thought you were done. So I hope that answered that question, Carol, because I know when I go back and I'm adding journaling to these pages, I'm definitely giving everything a look through. Is everything adhered down? Is everything, because this L keeps shifting. I got this out and that L was shifted. So I'm definitely going to have to figure out, and I think absolutely a couple of those are crooked, but you know what? Move on. The story is recorded. It's time to go to the next one. So I say, Carol, go ahead and add those finishing touches. Give it a quick look through. If you think it needs something, it's missing something. If something's popped up, add some glue and then flip it over and make sure braids and ribbon, anything like that's covered with some washi. So yes, I still do that. Even when I'm working on pages that I'm working with journaling and putting away, I still look through it. And if I think there's something that needs to be added or something to be done, so I can put that in an album, be done, I do it. And also too, I will take my photo cloth and I will wipe any fingerprints or anything I have on my layout. That's another thing I do. So yes, Carol, I say go ahead. But again, just don't spend an additional 30 to 40 minutes on a layout that you basically already had done, if that makes sense. Okay, so now let's go to something else. Another layout lunch date discussion, and this is from my lovely subscriber Anne. Anne had asked me several questions, so we're going to spend a little bit of time. That Anne had said to me that she has primarily she's been scrapbooking for 30 years, and I say, you go, girl. You go. That makes me smile. Yes, longtime scrapbookers. Yes, we need to unite, and we need to just keep encouraging others to keep scrapbooking. So Carol had asked a question that she has been primarily doing 2-page layouts this entire time, and how could she incorporate single pages, because she's basically always done 2-page layouts. And I would say, and where that came from for us to do 2-page layouts, because you are a long-time scrapbooker, it's because we were taught to be a 2-page scrapbook gal. Yes, because back in the day, this is how you did a layout. It was 2 pages. It was a 12 by 24 spread. That was considered a layout. Now, back in the old days when we started, it was 8.5 by 11, so it wasn't this big. It was basically this big, so it seemed doable. But then, of course, manufacturers made things bigger and bigger, because then prices went up, and yeah, that's another whole story. But so that is why you are a 2-page scrapbooker, and why you've done it for so long, because that's what we were taught in the very beginning, to do 2 pages. And it wasn't until things started, scrapbookers started to break that mold and break the rules of scrapbooking, that like, you do not need 2 pages to tell the story. And so then I also think it was the transition of scrapbooking events and celebrate and holidays, when we started to get into the cycle that we wanted to scrapbook everyday things, your favorite cup of coffee, or your favorite blanket that you use, your favorite sweater you wear. You don't need 2 pages. You do not need a 12 by 24 landscape to tell that story. So that's what happened. So I would say, Anne, what I would do is simply say say to yourself, what will it take to tell my story? What will it take to record my story? Will it take 2 pages? And there are some times it will, and then there's other times it doesn't, okay? Meaning something like this, okay? Now, we're in the age of technology and selfies. And so I always say, when someone sends you a selfie, keep every single one, because selfies is an absolute awesome way to record stories, just because, you know, you just need a representation. It doesn't matter what they're doing in a selfie. And so I would say this is just a photo that my little girl took and sent to me in her early days of college, and I just simply wanted to scrapbook this photo simply. So when you get into that stage, and where your story, you don't need 12 photos to tell your story, just think, can I do it on 1 page? Put a couple photos on there and be done with it. Or also too, when you start getting away from so many birthdays, so many events, so many holidays, and you're doing everyday life pages, stories, that type of thing, you do not need 2 pages to do that, because, you know, since you're doing these everyday stories and you're probably doing them pretty often, you don't need 6 photos to tell that everyday story. So that is what happens. What I would say, Anne, is that you're making a transition. You're getting away from event scrapbooking, holiday scrapbooking, birthday celebrations, and then you're focusing more on stories and everyday events. I think that's where the transition to 1 page layouts come. And also too, I think when you start to get more into the story-based, the storytelling part of scrapbooking, 1 page is, I think it's just a normal progression to that, if that makes sense. Okay, so then Anne asked me another question. She said, let me go back to something. So of course, with this 2 page, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so for 8 photos, 2 of them being a 4x6, 6 in wallets, of course you're going to need a 2 page spread. But I wanted to show something, and this is what I wanted to show Anne. In this event here of doing the gingerbread house, do I need to have all 8 of these photos? No, I don't. I simply could have took this one action shot, because I think this is a repeat. Okay, I could have took this one action shot, and then 1 of the gingerbread house, or 2 of the gingerbread house in a wallet size, and I simply could have done it on this page. I simply could just have this as the 1 page layout. I didn't need all these additional photos, because everything here is represented. There's my little one building the house, there's the supplies we use, and was some of the finished results of this crazy gingerbread house this year. So I wanted to show this layout, because right here on the left side of this page, this tells the story. If I had my journaling here, or horse the date, okay, then I wouldn't need this supporting page, okay? And so even with this one, let's take this one away, okay? You see how I have 2 4x6, I have 3 wallets, I have the date, and I have my journaling, and this really could serve as my title here. So really, I didn't need the left page. So, and also too, that was a trick we were taught many, many years ago. How could you tell if you had a 2 page layout balanced? It was if each one worked well on its own, and this one does, and this one does. That's how you could tell if you had a 2 page balance page, if they worked well on their own. But that's another whole topic. So anyways, what I was saying is that if you look at both of these together, that tells the story. But if I took one away, it still told the story, okay? Same way with this one. If I took the right away, the left still told the story. So that's what I wanted to emphasize, that there are times, especially if you have an event that you do over and over and over and over again. Christmas is one of them, but at Christmas time, we usually take a lot of photos. 2 pages are needed for that many photos. But for something that, like for in 2018 when we did the gingerbread house, it probably will be the last time we do a gingerbread house. So I will definitely do a 2 page layout and incorporate as many photos as I can. But there was one year I didn't have a lot of photos, so it just, you know, I only needed a couple photos to tell the story. So that was probably long-winded, but just to say to yourself, how can I tell this story with just a couple photos in my journaling? And honestly, sometimes you don't even need a 2 page. No. Okay, so then also, Anne had asked the question, how how do you deal with one-page layouts in your albums? Because remember, she's used to doing 2 pages. So when you open up your album, this is the spread you see. You flip it over, and then you see another 2-page spread. So she wanted to know, how do you deal with that in an album when you have a 1-page layout? And so for me, and I think for a lot of people, what we do is when we do a 1-page layout, we put it here on the left, and then we have another page layout, 1-page layout, we put it on the right. It doesn't matter, because this is a story and this is a story. It doesn't matter if it's cohesive, if it's flowing together. And here's what I want to say, Anne, because when you open up an album, okay, and you're seeing this 2-page spread, what are you doing right away? As soon as you're looking at this, you're not looking at this as a 12 by 24 format. You're coming over here to the left first, and then you're going over here to the right second, okay? That would be no different if you were only doing single page layouts and only putting single page layouts in your album. Say it's like this, okay? Because you're gonna come over here, you're gonna look at the left first, and then you're gonna come over here and look at the right second. So it's the same thing, it's just 2 different stories rather than one bigger story. So do not let that be a hang up that you think that your albums won't flow, because in and of itself, your album is one big story. These are just little chapters within your album of your story of your life. Yes, so do not let that be a hang up. Okay, and then also Anne had asked me, is it even important that we have to do 2 pages? No, it isn't. You can absolutely just kind of throw that rule out the window, change your mindset and say, this is a story, this is a story. It doesn't matter as long as it's recorded. Yes, no one is going to look, well, that doesn't look like it matches this one. No, it doesn't work that way, okay? Honestly. Okay, and I think what was the other question? Oh, she had asked, what if the patterns don't match and things clash? And now these colors kind of go together, but say if we have, okay, let's say we have a girly one here on the right, and then we have this beach here on the left. Okay, because this really is just a 1-page layout. And I wanted to show this, Anne, because on this layout here, I have 5 photos. This really could have been stretched to a 2-page. I just wasn't up to it because I just don't have a lot that I remember about this day right here, this trip. And these are panoramic shots, so they were great big, and these were 4 by 6. And so what I did was I cut each one of these photos down so I could only do a 1-page, because I didn't feel like I needed to do a 2-page to tell the story. And because also this is a place that we visit all the time, so I do not need these represented in my album year after year after year in the 4 by 6. But now if you have a trip that is once in a lifetime, of course, I'd say don't cut that down, because you're probably only go to it once in your life. Okay, so what I wanted to say is, okay, so we have this here on the left, or this on the right, doesn't matter. And these are definitely tropical, high energy colors, and this is more girly pastel, that type of thing. And I want to show Anne that it doesn't matter, because here's a story and then here's a story. In your brain, you see them as 2 separate stories, because this is the left, and then you're going to have that divider in the middle with either your, your 3 rings or postbound, whatever type of album you use, and then you're going to come over here. So it does not have to be, this all the time, because even with a 2-page spread, you're going to have this divider, okay? So it doesn't matter, because that divider really is going to tell your brain we got 2 separate stories here. And plus, in and of itself, you're going to see that these are not cohesive. They don't go together as far as design. Your brain automatically tells you right away it's just 2 separate stories. So I would say, yes, throw that rule out the window. It will all work, and it all comes together at the end. And if anybody is sitting there nitpicking your album, saying this, that, and the other thing, I would simply close that album up and say, bid them adieu and farewell. Yes, honestly, because if someone is interested in your life, they are not going to make any comment about any type of design, whether you're doing a 1-page or a 2-page. They're just going to look at your life and smile. Absolutely. Okay, so I think that is what I wanted to say for our layout share today, talking about what do you do When you want to add some things to a layout, I say go ahead and add it. Just don't spend a lot of time. What do you do if you want to break out of that cycle of always doing 2 pages and then you want to learn how to do some single pages? Just do whatever fits you and what the story you want to tell. There is no rule when it comes to that. And then also too, what if you're someone who only ever does single pages and maybe you're not telling the story enough? Maybe think about doing a 2-page layout. Yes, maybe printing your photos, not always just on a wallet. Do some 4x6. Get into the bigger side of the stories that you want to tell. Yes. Now also with that, I want to say, if there is anything that you want to talk about in our layout lunch date, please share that below, because I'm always writing down ideas of things we can talk about in our layout lunch date. And then also hang on for a few minutes and I will show you the 10 layouts that I have picked that I'm going to journal on this week, and then I'm going to take them to my living room and put them in a pile because once I get this some of the journaling done on this, then I'm going to spend a couple of days, take things off my calendar and sit, and I'm going to work on actually start putting layouts away, which I'll be sharing that. Okay, so hold on for a minute and I'll come back with 10 layouts and my goal of getting it done. Okay, hold on. Okay, so here are the 10 layouts that I have picked that I'm going to journal on this week and get done. Focus, focus, focus. Yes, people, we are going to focus. We're going to get this done in 2019. We are going to reduce these piles and get them into albums and increase the smiles. Yes, piles to smiles. Maybe that's what we ought to call it. Yes. Now, the one thing I wanted to say is that when I was pulling layouts to journal on, I made sure that I stayed with journaling that was either going to be all in one color, meaning all of these layouts, when I go to journal, they are going to be printed on white cardstock, because sometimes I have layouts that will be on ivory cardstock or black or whatever. So I try to keep those together, so when I'm typing everything up and I'm typing it all on one 8.5 by 11 or two 8.5 by 11 papers, it's a little quicker for me rather than having to switch papers in my printer, if that makes sense. So this is one of them, and they all have dates, so I'm good about that. But I also will go and look to see at the same time, does anything need glued? Do my brads need covered up? And so I will be doing those finishing touches. And like Carol said, if I see anything that needs added, I will do that, because I have a couple here I'm going to show that I need to add something. So then there's the other one I'm going to do. And so I want to encourage you this week, maybe put in your planner, say I need to maybe work on a pile of layouts. Maybe some of them may need journaling, some of them need a date. Maybe set up a little bit of a system and start letting this just work on the plan of wanting to get this type of project done. And again, I'm just going to focus on getting the journaling done. This will all be on white cardstock. I'm going to sit down, and if I don't have time to do all 10, I would just keep it open in my Microsoft Word document, add to it as I go, and I will print all of the layouts for this journaling at one time, and then I will sit and come and adhere them and play and do all of this at one time. Yes, now this is a layout that will be added into my 50 layouts of advice from mom. I think we're over 50 albums or 50 layouts in that album, and I may get to share that coming up. We'll see. I have to cover up a lot of stuff. And then what else I wanted to say? So yes, those are my 10 right there. That's a little mini layout share of the 10 I'm going to do. So they all have dates. I'm ready to go. So that is the 10 layouts I'm going to focus on this week. And absolutely, truth be told, there's going to be 12 because I have 2 here to the left that I can't share. And they just need a little bit of something. But it's absolutely going to be 12 layouts. And so I will definitely, in my next layout share, come back and be held accountable. Someone asked, did you get those 12 layouts done? Yes. Now, they will not be put away, but that's not my process for this pile. This pile is just simply get some journaling done. Yes, because it takes a little different part of the brain to do the journaling than it does the creative. And so I will sit down at one time and do these 10. So that will help you, get off of the creative train for a little bit and get on the journaling train. Yes. So also remember, if you have anything you want to talk about in the layout share, please list below. If you have any problems that you're having with your layouts and getting things done, please share below. And I also have some subscribers who rock this category. So I've asked them, please list your tips below. Yes, because I have some subscribers that they journal on every single page before they're done, and they don't even have this problem. So ladies, please share your advice below, any tidbits, or just give us some encouragement. Yes, that's what we need to do. I am breaking myself of this habit. I'm doing very well with this. The only thing I ran into is that now when I film, there's some things you just don't want public, okay? So now I have a pile that I have to wait till I do a layout share, and so that's why another category was created. But all in all, it's all fun. We're having fun, and that's all that matters. Yes. So that is all I have for this layout share today. Please enjoy your lunch. I hope you're eating something nutritious. I was hungry for McDonald's French fries today. I have no idea where that where that came from. It just all of a sudden I got hungry for something. How does that happen? And I have no McDonald's near me, so I guess that's a good thing. Yes, but all of a sudden I just got a hankering for McDonald's French fries with no salt. Imagine that. Okay, so that is all I have for today. Come back. We'll have another layout share coming soon. And have a great day, and come back because you never know what we're going to do. Bye.